So without wasting much time, we'll go straight into the presentation. So basically, it's just an introduction and impact. We'll go through the impact around social media. And then we'll go on to speaking about promoting a positive mental health, um, uh, around social media. We'll look at online safety and then conclude the presentation. I do hope that Samantha here will help keep me in check in terms of time, because there's really limited time to go through this presentation. All right. Okay, so just as you can see on the image here, we can see definitely that there's a speed at which internet is evolving or changing the world. The applications here, we can see Facebook, YouTube, drastically becoming popular around adults and even children. And these applications are also being tightly integrated with our daily lives. And you can see that maybe in less than 10 years, we were not at this stage. So because of this tightly integration in our lives, you can see like in a minute, there's 100,000 new tweets that are posted, 20 million photos are viewed, 61,141 hours of music is uploaded, and so on and so forth. So because of all this activity that's happening and growth around the internet and our cyber platforms, there's really need for this session is the one that we're having today. So what is social media? Social media refers to online platforms and technologies that enable users to create, exchange information, ideas, and also just engage in virtual communities. They foster collaboration and also enhance communication. And examples are there as well, the normal channels that we know: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat, many more. And let's just briefly look at this. A question that I just wanted to pose to the audience: do you use any of these? I'm sure you use some of those applications there. And do you know the age restrictions? So if you can just quickly look from your left going to the right, basically from 13 years, that's the minimum age requirement. And it's so interesting to see that a study that was done by ISC2 Squared, in Association for Cybersecurity Professionals, that 30% of children who were registered on that platform had lied about their ages. And most of them actually had their parents and grandparents help them to create accounts. So let's just keep this in mind as we go through the legal age that our children should be in order to use these platforms. All right, so with social media, we just want to look at the positives around using social media. It's a channel to use to connect and to build communities. Through social media and Facebook, you've been able to get in touch maybe with your childhood friends, are able to communicate with people overseas. So it's now a global village with the use of social media, which is a really good positive. Information sharing and awareness. There's lots of information that's around social media, and this is a huge benefit. People are actually able to come together and maybe push for a certain social cause through these social media platforms. And you even find groups where teachers or people in agriculture come together and share information on how to better their businesses or other social constructs. Social media also gives us educational opportunities. You'll find that in some platforms there are webinars, there are virtual conferences that are put together, and you have people from different backgrounds and across different geographies coming together and just sharing on educational opportunities. There's career networking and professional growth. You'll find platforms like LinkedIn, where you're able even to get in touch with recruiters, meet like-minded individuals, and also look for opportunities. So that's a plus for our social media platforms. Then we also have a platform for creativity and artistic platforms. So it gives opportunities for our artists, writers, You find so many people who are now bringing content, actually content creators, who are showcasing their talents and getting a platform to just showcase their talents and their arts. Then lastly, business promotion and entrepreneurship. I know there are many business people in this room. Social media is a cheap and affordable way to bring awareness to your brand, advertise your products. So it's a really good platform for businesses and individuals at large. However, nothing comes without negativities or disadvantages. And for today, we'll delve closely at the negative impact on mental health, the impact of social media on. So you'll find cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is one prominent issue that is being dealt with, and it's particularly prominent with our children, especially teens, because they're still trying to find their individuality, their voices. So you find people name shaming, harassing, posting negative content, which then impacts the self-esteem of those children or even adults, and impacting our mental health negatively. Social comparison. There's a lot of pressure with social media. People tend to post pictures or put stories portraying a certain type of lifestyle, which may not necessarily be true, but you find that people then tend to get this pressure to match that sort of same lifestyle, and it gives some sort of distress that also poses some mental health challenges. Then there's a fear of missing out. Fear of missing out. Apologies. Fear of missing out. So you find that there's a lot of content being pushed out. So, and there's this hype to say, oh, I also want to be doing this. I also want to be posting things. So people are in this revolving cycle where you always want to be involved in the next best thing. You want to know what latest post, who said this, what is some popular socialite saying. You don't want to miss out on any of this information that is going around, and it sometimes just impacts negatively, as that pressure can result in stress and things like that. The negative body image, especially with filters that are very used in images and videos, you find that people's self-esteem deteriorates and confidence deteriorates, as there's this perspective where you are anticipated to be a certain figure, a certain type, a certain complexion. And you find even in the extreme cases, people develop eating disorders because they're trying to fit that image that is going around on social media. We have information overload. There's so much content that is going around. You're reading this, you're reading that. And that if information overload can also cause some fatigue, cognitive fatigue, which also impacts your mental health negatively. Social isolation. I think this one is a very huge problem. You find somebody, if you're not doing something, you're quickly on your phone, on social media. So at times it's so bad to the extent that you create relationships on social media and forgo the physical relationships that you could actually have with people, such that you develop mental challenges in that case. So that one is a challenge. And then lastly is addiction and dependence. So there is addiction to social media. You can't sleep without going on social media. You can't just have a full day without going on your phone. So you just need to check yourself and see if you're not addicted to social media. All right, so we'll just look at how can we promote a positive mental health around social media. There's some strategies that we can adopt to make sure that we have a positive mental health as we use social media. So be mindful of the content you consume and what you curate or what you are sharing. Just be mindful of what you're sharing and what you're consuming. Set boundaries and limit screen time. So just tell yourself at this certain point in time in the day, that's when I'll go through my social media accounts, just to create that balance in your life. And then practice self-care and prioritize offline activities. I know when I was growing up, there wasn't any social media activity. So especially with parents, you can then just make sure maybe your kids are playing outside in a certain time. Then that's when they're able to go on their phones and uh, browse on the internet. So be able to do that separation. And then I just wanted to delve a little bit deeper into cyberbullying and how we can prevent it so that it doesn't severely impact our mental health. So it's things like having open communication. Let's encourage each other to openly discuss about our online experiences. And also just have empathy and kindness when you're commenting on posts online. So many people are mean, and you don't even know the person you are commenting on, how they're going to feel and how that is going to impact them. And also on our social media platforms, there are mechanisms of reporting on cyber bullies, and also blocking those people so that they don't continuously repeat the same behavior. And also be a responsible bystander. If you see someone who's cyberbullying someone, be able to stand out and call out that person to say this is unacceptable behavior. And lastly, is just to seek professional help. I know in Africa it's not something that we are really used to, but seeking professional help, talk to someone professional to help you go through those mental challenges. Then lastly, we'll look at what we call digital well-being tools and resources. So you can adopt these well-being tools and resources on social media. They are available. You also make usage of tracking and time management features. You can actually able to see how much time you've spent at a certain point in time going through WhatsApp, going through Facebook, even reading the Bible. You'll find that Bible will be zero, but WhatsApp will have so many hours, you'll be very surprised. And again, as I said, reporting mechanisms for make sure you make use of the reporting mechanisms within those social media platforms and seek mental health. So let's look at some examples of these digital well-being tools. So we've got website blockers. These you can download. They will allow you to block certain websites, either at all times or during certain time intervals. Then making use of dashboards on your phones. If you go, I think, to settings, you'll see where it can list the number of hours where you've been on these apps. You can also have app timers as well. This is something that can be downloaded, which limit how many minutes or hours a user can spend on certain websites. So you can do this to make sure that you are able to manage your balanced social media work lifestyle. And lastly, Google has something that they call Google Shush, which is a feature which switches a device to do not disturb mode whenever the phone is played screen down. Okay, so this is the last section of my presentation. Now we're looking at staying safe online. But before we talk about how you can stay safe online, you need to understand the threats that you are facing when you're on social media. So we've got things like malware. This is just a malicious program that will gain unauthorized access to your computer and disrupt your computer or your mobile device. And it comes in different forms. I won't go through those, but there are viruses, there are worms, there are trojans, there's ransomware. And I'll just highlight on ransomware, which is a very deadly one, especially when for the corporates and when you're at work, because it can encrypt files and you will not be able to access anything. It can propagate through your whole network, causing the business to go at a standstill. Then there's phishing attacks. Now, these phishing attacks are where these attackers are just like you and me. They will impersonate and come through as certain individuals just to deceive you and get sensitive information. From these phishing attacks, this is where we get identity theft. So phishing attacks, I'll give an example of on emails. You'll find an email, maybe someone purporting to be your manager saying, this has been approved, please go ahead and make the payment. So you need to be wary of what you are clicking, links you are clicking. If you're not sure of the email you've received, just pick up your phone and call that person and confirm whether they actually sent you that email, because these attackers are very canny, and they will make use of this to steal information. Then there's social engineering. Social engineering is where there's the manipulation of individuals to gain unauthorized access to information. And I wanted to point out online fraud. It's normally as a result of social engineering. So you'll find phony websites, people receive emails, oh, you've won this, or complete this survey to get such and such an amount of money. Be wary of this, because these are attackers who are out to get your money. Do not share sensitive information on these social media platforms. How then can we mitigate? How then can we stay safe? So let's use strong passwords and use strong passwords and unique passwords. You'll find someone using the same password for their bank account, for their Facebook account. So if that password is taken, everything in your bank or whatever, they'll get access to everything. So let's get the culture of creating different passwords that are strong. And there are also features on Facebook where you can use multi-factor authentication. So you're not only authenticating to access an application by using a password and a username, but it will ask maybe for your fingerprint. It will ask for your facial recognition, or it will send a code, an authorization code to your email. So just get into the habit of going on to your, if it's financial information, get into the habit of making sure that those are turned on, because they are privacy settings, which brings me to the second point. Privacy settings and security settings. Go there and make sure that you've got minimal personal information that's accessible to the public. Also, as I've alluded to, avoid sharing sensitive information. You'll find someone who put their first name, last name, school, they'll put children's names. And most users, most of us here, when we create passwords, will take your first daughter's name, monovati 123 hash. So it's so easy. These guys are cunning. They don't sleep day and night, trying just to get access to your funds, trying to get access to your identities. I actually found an aunt of mine some time ago. So a picture of her, someone had created a similar profile to hers on Facebook. And I told her, are you aware of this? So people make use of your pictures. And especially when you go on vacation, and you post your location, they'll use geotagging to see munhu ari kwakati, and they can even go to your house and break in, because all your information is out there. Not everyone has got good intentions. And online financial alerts are very good. This is making sure that you get email alerts or text alerts on any account activity, so at least you know when that pop-up comes. This is a genuine transaction. This is me. If it's not, you quickly go to the bank and get that account or card closed. And also make sure you do safe downloads. Let's not be in the habit of downloading everything in everywhere. There are trusted sites. If it's Google Play Store, Microsoft Play Store, Apple Play Store. Otherwise, you'll download applications that come with viruses, ransomware, and that will also have implications onto you. Lastly, it's antivirus software. Make sure that you've got an antivirus software and is also up to date to make sure that all these viruses, worms, trojans, and malicious software are captured. I hope I'm still on time. I thought 2 minutes. Okay, I'm done, almost done. I felt because there are mothers here, there are aunts, there are grandmothers here, we cannot close this without just delving into the parents' edition, our children. Please let your kids know that online activity and posts could be available to everyone, including future employers and colleges. The internet does not forget. Social media should not become a popularity contest. Treat others the way you want to be treated on social media. Stop and think before you post, and never share sensitive information. And never agree to meet a stranger you met online. So these are some of the challenges that kids are facing. There's something called sexting. So children are in the habit, and even adults, of sharing sexually provocative content or explicit content on social media. Talk to your kids about this. Talk to them about cyberbullying. Then there's gaming. When I grew up, we used to do snakes and ladders, but gaming has evolved. There are games where children play online with a live person at the other end, and there are chat rooms in there, which is bringing me to that one, chat rooms. In for these chat rooms, they can be within the app, they can be within the game, or they can be just separate. And many children tend to interact with people there, someone pretending to be a child who is actually an adult, and they can fix up a date. Gaming, this is actually very true. I've got friends who are into gaming. They actually have a community where they meet. So imagine your children who are still young, and they don't really know how to navigate around this. Lastly, so parental control. With that information, make sure that you put parental control. Restrict your kids. Restrict them. You can do this in terms of implementing restrictions on the App Store on what they can download. You put certain ratings, and also be vigilant. Just make sure that you are checking what children are doing, because in as much as you check for them when they're playing outside or running around, you should do the same thing on social media. So get on these platforms, follow them, and see what they're doing, what they're clicking, and things like that. And then encourage them to set up private chats. You can use, instead of on the chats, they can use platforms like Google or Skype, where they know that they're working with certain individuals that they actually know. And also to remain anonymous. So because of our time, I think I'll just conclude with that, which is to post or not to post. That is the question. That is not the question. Think before you post. Do not post something that you would not want your grandmother to read. Everything that an individual posts, no matter how old or young you are, stays online. In the places you visit, things you say, leave a trail on the internet that never goes away. All of this digital communication is called your digital footprint. With that note, thank you very much.